Hey YouTube, what's up? Alan back again. I have another spinner to review today, and this is a new release by Kepler Technologies. This is the Kepler Factor spinner. It's out there, available at Spinetic Spinners. It's a stainless steel, has kind of a satiny kind of finish. It has removable weights. It's totally modular, comes apart. The bearing is held in by the two halves, similar to the one-drop Trillium. It has some areas on the side where you can install tritium vials if you'd like to, or you can use the metal rod pieces that they give you in the kit to put in there instead of tritium vials if you don't want to go that route. Or you could just take these out altogether and just basically have cutouts. So there are some customizing options available to you. So I think without any further ado, let's go ahead and take this thing down to the tabletop. Let's bust it down, see what makes it tick, look at some of the options, and we'll do that right now. All right, up close and personal time with the Kepler Factor tri-spinner. Comes in a very nice little tin, kind of a standard tin, kind of a large tin. If you compare it to, say, this one here from Spinetic, you can see how much smaller it is than the Kepler Factor. So it is kind of a large tin. It is kind of a large spinner. So I guess one leads to the other. All right, taking a peek inside. It comes with some pieces to fill the tritium slots on this spinner. Comes in 3 different materials. You got stainless steel, you got copper, and you have brass. So you can customize a little bit that way, or you can put in your own tritium vials, which would actually make this thing look really cool, especially at night. It also has a better way of holding the tritium vials in place. They're like the Trillium uses the bearing capture system. This spinner also uses a capture system for the bearing and the tritium pieces or vials if you would like to install those. Comes with an extra bearing inside also, which is kind of nice. The bearing is a little loud, so what I've done is I've replaced this with a different bearing that's a little bit more quiet. I didn't care for the bearing that came in it, so a nice FZ bearing would probably be a nice addition to this spinner. So just kind of keep that in mind. The bearing that is in this did not come with it. I did put a different one in it. So let's go ahead and take a peek at this. It is a totally modular spinner. Totally comes apart, and it can be quite a mess when you do it. So keep that in mind. Now it has 3 removable weights around the arms on it. It's got a nice smooth waist there. The arms extending out, having these removable weights on it that are not very heavy. Honestly, they're pretty thin weights. It's got nice buttons, which I think are maybe a little on the small side as compared to a lot of other spinners, but they are still very nice buttons. And of course, you can always replace these buttons with another set. They're very low profile, as you can see. They set right about just a little bit higher than the weights on the outside, and of course that is to allow for table spins. So, and you can see here you got your tritium, where your tritium slots are filled in with these pieces that come with it right now. I do not have any tritium vials, so hopefully maybe that's something that I might do with this thing somewhere down the line. Like I said, it is totally modular. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and show you that by pulling these weights off of it. They are, like I said, it is kind of a pain. It's kind of hard to get a grip on them, but they screw out. And let's go ahead and pull these out here real quick. Flip it over. Hopefully they'll just drop out. Probably won't, but who knows. And one more. Let's go and pop it out with this one. And of course one gets stuck. I guess you don't got to worry about the weights falling out. Let's see if we can't get that out. It's always one, isn't it? Never fails. I don't have anything. Yes, I do. Let's try this. There it goes. All right, now once you get the weights out, let's just set those aside here real quick. Go ahead and back the button out. Nice buttons, by the way. They are stainless steel. Wish they would not have branded them. Just plain generic buttons, I think, would have been a little bit nicer, but they are putting their mark on it. And like I said, this is a modular spinner, so the two halves do come apart. You just have to be very, very careful when you do it, because those pieces want to stick. As you can see, this one's stuck on this side. Let me set this down real quick, and I will send it down very gently, of course. Take a peek at them there. They are tiny. They're kind of tough to work with. Let's go ahead and set this one back into place. There we go. And the bearing itself, being like the trillium in that way, you can just push it up with your finger and it pops right out. There you go. And I want to use this one for reference just because it doesn't have the pieces in it. It's got little tabs here that you can use when you put the two halves together to line them up so that it has a perfect alignment when you put it back together every time. You can see the machining marks on the underside of this. Of course, this is the area that does not show, so not as important to make this perfect. But you see the outside has a nice kind of a satiny finish to it. Very nicely done. It's a nice spinner. It is, like I said, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with as far as these tritium pieces go, or the pieces that fill the slots. And you see, you find yourself messing with them to try and get them in there. They are a pain. I'm just going to use these. And of course, Spinetic has those wire pieces as well that are colored. They could also be used with this spinner. You could drop those in there and give it some color, because they do come in different colors. And as you can see, I'm really fighting with this thing. Makes this kind of a tough review to do, but you know, this is what this is. So it kind of have to show it, because this is what you'll be dealing with this spinner. There's a lot of fiddling around you have to do with it to get it right and get the pieces in there all together so that the thing goes back together nicely. So we'll go ahead and we'll press the bearing back into place. And there you have it. Let me see if I can pick this thing up, because as soon as you go moving this around, those pieces are going to want to fall out. So you got to really be gentle when you're dealing with this thing and hold it together. And just a quick suggestion when you're doing with this, my suggestion first is to go ahead and throw the buttons on first, because that way it won't come apart and move around, and you won't have to worry about trying to chase those pieces anywhere. So it will kind of stick together, and you're not going to have to worry about those little pieces falling out or anything. So now you can go ahead and you can take your weights and you can place your weights back in it. And of course they just pop right in. And let's go ahead and throw them back together. There we go. Very nice buttery threads. They're smooth. Finger tight is all you need. And one more. Kind of tighten down with your thumb. And away we go. Beautiful spinner. Very nice, 2.5 inches wide, spin diameter. Nice spin effects, as you see. Looks pretty cool from the side. You can see that that modular design where it kind of goes together, and if you see if it's pinched out like that, all you need to do is tighten these down a little bit, and that'll pinch it together. Check it all the way around. We're good to go. Beautiful. Very nice spinner. Let's get a real quick weight on this thing. See what she weighs in at. Not too terribly heavy, but definitely heavy enough to know you have a spinner in your hand for sure. Let's check it out. 83.5 grams. So yeah, she's got a little bit of beef to her. Nice spinner though. Pretty fidgetable. Nice, good for flicking, pulling, either way. Spins very nice. Feels very nice. No hot spots. Nothing. Don't have to worry about any rough edges. These look like they're. I mean, they're not chamfered, but the way this thing is finished with that satin finish, there's no problem with discomfort. So that's good. Very nicely done with the weights. These probably look really good if you flamed them. Pull them out. You can. They're already pretty polished, so all you have to do is flame anodize them. They'd look really cool on this spinner for sure. So yeah, that's the Kepler Factor. Pretty nice spinner. Probably wouldn't be up in my favorites, but pretty popular nonetheless. Runs about 40, I want to say 42, 43 bucks, something like that out there at Spinetic Spinners. I'll leave a link below where you can go check it out. They did sell out pretty quick. Obviously, this is just a brand new release, so keep that in mind. And real quick, let's go ahead and take this thing outside. Let's put a little sunlight on it. See what it looks like when we get a nice warp video. I'm assuming those trit slots will look pretty cool in a warp video. So stay tuned real quick. We'll go out and we'll check that out. We'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that portion of the video. Let me give you my final thoughts on this Kepler Technologies Factor Tri-Spinner. Really not my cup of tea. Although it looks really cool, it's kind of a neat modular design. It really doesn't fit my spinning preference. The weight, not so much, that much of a factor. I don't mind a heavy spinner sometimes, but the buttons, I think, are a little bit too small for me. The fact that the little parts inside, if you're taking this thing apart, maybe switching out those pieces that go in place of tritium vials, or even replacing tritium vials themselves, it just seems to me like it is a lot of work with a lot of small parts and could end in disaster. So, you know, losing them or whatever. And it's just really kind of hard to work with that way. So, that being said, you know, this is not one of those spinners that really grabs me. Didn't give me the warm fuzzies like a lot of other spinners do. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But, of course, I will leave a link down below in the description where you can go pick up one of these. That'd be great out there at Spinetic Spinners if you'd like to give it a try. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. Let me review this for you. Hope you find it a little bit useful. Also, I'll leave a couple other videos there for you to check out. Of course, a subscription button up in the corner also as well if you want to hit that and come back and check out some of my other videos. So, once again, I want to thank you for hanging out. And do me a favor. Keep calm. Spin on. Peace.